my internet is not so excitingly perfect. So I can never tell, and I can't follow it on Facebook. I've never been able to juggle that many things because I want to be really present with you here. So right now, I have the chat is open and people can write questions in the chat on Zoom. And we will do our best to respond and answer them. And welcome everybody. Woo, after that great big preamble, I'm Marbeth Dunn, and welcome to Meditation and Conversation with Marbeth and Friends. And I've got some amazing friends here, and I'm very, very excited about this broadcast today. And our theme is Bridge Over Troubled Waters, Comfort, Compassion, and Love. Ah, just I can feel it. This is going to be an amazing, amazing panel. So what I would like to do before I introduce our panel is I would like to start, as usual, with a meditation. So please make yourself comfortable. Sit up straight. Get that spine straight. We want the energy to be able to travel up your spine into your upper chakras, your energy centers, so that we can create a higher vibrational frequency. So close your eyes. We're going to start with the breath because the breath is always the gateway to serenity, to the higher vibration. It's just a wonderful way to create this peace and everything that goes with it, health. So as we close our eyes, we focus on the breath through our nostrils as it enters the body, and we follow it in the mind's eye as it goes down all the way into just below your navel. That's a very powerful center called the hara. And we're going to exhale following the breath as it goes all the way up and out through your nostrils. So we're going to inhale, following the breath all the way down, and exhale, following it all the way up. And one more breath, inhaling all the way down, and exhaling all the way out, following it in your mind. And now put your hand over your heart. Just put that hand over your heart and feel the warmth underneath your hand. That's a very, very powerful chakra or energy center, energy vortex called the heart chakra. And as we focus our awareness here, feeling the warmth under our hands, we can think about kindness and love. We might see it as a child, perhaps one of our children, or a puppy, or a kitten, or just something that brings so much love and appreciation and gratitude into your mind. And feel it focused here in your heart. And feel that love and gratitude and appreciation start to expand. Now, you may not have been able to think of something off the top of your head. So think of what it felt like to be in a situation where people were loving on you and you felt appreciated. Feel that. That appreciation, that love, we're going to let it expand. Our show today is about compassion and love and comfort, and it originates here in your heart, in your beautiful, beautiful heart. And as we intensify this feeling of love and appreciation, we intensify this feeling of gratitude, we notice that it's expanding outward and it's enveloping everyone on our call, on our beautiful panel, everyone in our city. We are just pure love and joy and gratitude, and we are extending it out throughout our city, throughout our country, throughout our beautiful planet, embracing all of humanity. There's no limits to our love. There's no limits to our appreciation. There's no limits to all of these beautiful things. They're free. They're ours for the asking, and we can tap into them whenever we want. This is a veritable fountain of love. In fact, as we extend this love out and this compassion out through everyone on our beautiful planet, we feel it coming back to us. Feel it expanding within your heart. Feel it embracing you in a beautiful cloud of pink, beautiful cloud of pink love. Just feel it just enveloping you. And the more that you're receiving, the more that you can send out and let it extend throughout our planet, throughout our universe, the solar system, the Milky Way. Let it just extend out, because all together we are so powerful, and we are merging our energy right now into a place of love and peace, and feel it all coming back. Giving and receiving are the same thing. So notice what happens as you give, as you share. It's all coming back. All coming back, yes. So let's come back now, feeling that love and peace and appreciation. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Notice your butt in the chair. Get yourself really centered, and it is time to introduce our amazing panel. Yay! So we're going to start now with MARIE Platske, who is an award-winning leadership expert. She's been recognized by the White House and the United States Small Business Association. She is a member of the Forbes Coaches Council, and she coaches women around the globe, and she's a #1 best-selling author, and she's just amazing. I love MARIE. What gorgeous energy. Can you feel her energy? She is amazing. And we have Mark Allen, who is an award-winning talk show host and producer with more than 30,000 interviews spanning over 10 years. He has anchored local news. He is reported in the field, and he has a late night health radio show, latenighthealth.com. And we have the amazing MAUREEN St Germain, and very dear friend. She is the practical mystic. She's the founder of Akashic Records International. She is an amazing author. Her books have been published all over the world, and she's taught in 24 countries throughout Europe, Canada, USA, Egypt, China, and Japan. So what an illustrious panel. I am so honored to be here among you. Beautiful people. So I wanted to talk about the bridge over troubled water. When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. When things get tough and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled water, I will ease your mind. Like a bridge over troubled water, I will ease your mind. Wow, that's such a powerful song. And I was actually guided to do a different song this week. And when I came back to this, it was like, no, you're not going to do that. This is the one for this week. It's all about love and compassion. And so I want to ask my beautiful panel, we'll start with MARIE. What is compassion?
Compassion with passion. To be incredibly filled with passion for something that is your mission and your calling. It's your thing. That's one of the things my husband says all the time, that's the reason why he married me, is because I'm filled with an incredible amount of passion for my mission and my calling. And for me, it's always about seeing, my big vision is a world where everyone wins. And this time, when we speak about a bridge over troubled water, this is the the perfect time to be examining how to create a world where everyone wins.
Yeah, we have a wonderful opportunity now to create. You know, the world is not going to be the same after this. And we have what a wonderful opportunity to create something different. Mark, what do you think compassion is?
I think compassion is love. I think we have to love the world. And I think I think, in this crisis that we're in right now, I went for a walk the other day, and I should be walking more than just the other day, but walking down the street, people are saying hi. They're walking around you. They're walking across the street, even in the supermarkets. A couple of weeks ago, it's been about 2 weeks, I was standing in line and we were, socially distanced away. And I mumbled under my breath, nuts, I forgot the bread. My wife is going to kill me. And the woman behind me heard me. And she said, I'll watch your stuff. Don't worry. We're all waiting. It's okay. And they let me go and get the bread that I shouldn't be eating. And I did. And I thanked them profusely. And I think that's what's happening. I think that compassion right now for the world is what we need. Love is what we need. Our friend, Robert Clancy, that we all know, that's his message, and, love makes the world go round. I'm the only one who remembers when that song came out.
But I remember it too.
Do you? Oh, okay. I hate to say that was in the 60s, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah. Maureen, what do you think about compassion?
Well, I was thinking about something playing along what Mark was saying. I remember when 9/11 happened, people opened their doors. I have friends who were, just maybe half a mile away from ground zero, and, people were walking and wandering. And so they would open their apartments because they had a lot of like brownstones in that area, and just, let people come in and get a cup of tea, use the restroom. And I noticed a big difference in the way people interacted on the subway and other public places. If you dropped your scarf or your gloves, they would pick them up for you and then hand them to you. They wouldn't just point them to you. They'd, pick them up for you. And so I think we're seeing a whole nother leveling up again. And I think it's very prevalent in a place like New York City, where everyone has assumed that it's cold-hearted, and it's not. It's very loving and very caring. And I'm seeing the same things that Mark is describing. So I think compassion at this time is that we're stepping into a whole new level of compassion that we had not thought about, had not thought possible, had not tried to make happen. And now we are.
That's beautiful. And you're right there in the epicenter, aren't you?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I am.
New York City, your background is perfect.
Thank you. I took this picture on Columbus Day when the lights were lit up. So they don't light these lights on the George Washington Bridge all the time, only on special occasions. And I happened to catch it.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And it's a special occasion having you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to read something that someone sent me in an email, and I just thought it was so interesting. Hugs and kisses suddenly become weapons, and not visiting parents and friends becomes an act of love. Suddenly you realize that power, beauty, and money are worthless and can't get you the oxygen you're fighting for. The world continues its life, and it is beautiful. It only puts humans in cages. I think it's sending us a message. You're not necessary. The air, earth, water, and sky without you are fine. When you come back, remember that you are my guests, not my masters.
Wow.
Isn't that powerful? I thought,
It
wow.
certainly is. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought that was really interesting. And I also wanted to remind our guests, and we have, quite a few participants on the Zoom call that I can see. And I just want to say, hi to you all, Jim and Lisa and Mia and Dusty. It's really lovely to have you guys all here. And please feel free, if you have any questions for us, please put them in the chat. And I also wanted to say we have something very special. I have never done this on a broadcast, but I asked Maureen earlier if she would open the Akashic Records and would ask for us some specific questions. So we're going to do that a little bit later in the broadcast. So please stick around. So Lisa Marie, I know that you've been very quietly at home. You've been guided to just sit and be still. And how do you think that is playing into the concept of compassion?
Well, as I share, my definition of compassion is with passion, with incredible passion. And so I look at it as this is the opportunity to really listen, like about what your calling is. And for me, my calling right now has been to be still. And I recognize that there are many similarities to this experience. Maureen brought up 9/11. I was on the front lines as a federal law enforcement officer in New York City, and had to send employees to look through the ruins looking for body parts. It was a very interesting time. And what I look at in similarities in this stillness is the great need for forgiveness and the great need for healing. And that part where when you shared beautifully the email that you received, and the word that what you had spoke about was guest, not master, that when one person wins, actually no one wins. And so that it is for me, when I look at the compassionate part of me being still and being quiet, this is just simply an honoring of where it is that I'm being called and being led right now. And it's strange. It's eerily odd, Marbeth, because, I have, a Facebook community of over 100,000 people, and I've got other communities that I'm part of, and yet this is what I'm being asked to do. And so it's the compassionate thing right now. It's the compassionate thing for me. And at the same time, it's the honoring thing of where I'm being led and what the Holy Spirit's asking me to do. And when I get the message to do something else, I'll be incredibly vocal, and that's just not it. I'm not being told not to do anything. I mean, I have an annual conference I've done for 12 years, and I'm told to move forward with that. It's in January, and I'm going, really? Okay. You want me to sign contracts? Okay. And there's other things that I've been being told, no, that's not yours to do now. And I'm going, really? You want me to sign a contract but not work on a website? Okay. I'll listen. Fine. I'll go where I'm being told. And for me, there's just great compassion in doing that, as someone who has often been in situations like 9/11 where I was a very vocal advocate and very outspoken. And that's not mine is to be still right now.
You're giving people permission to be still by sharing your story of a very active person and a very proactive person is now being still. So those who are doing that, but then maybe feeling guilty, have just heard, wait a minute, lots of us are being told, just take it down a few notches.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I just got goosebumps all over when you said that.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I find it's because I'm active. I don't have anywhere near 100,000 people. I'm envious, Lisa Marie.
You have 30,000 shows.
Well, 30,000 people, but
right.
I have at least 3 years. I'm at least 3 years older than you are. But
my 50s are wonderful. So I love my 50s, and I honor the fact that you perhaps have a little more wisdom than me.
Oh, bless your heart. Actually, not to, I've got a book coming out called Growing Old Sucks, but it doesn't have to. And
Oh, I like it.
thank you. And it'll be out when all this stuff is over. But and I wrote it with a friend, Servet Hassan. But my point is that being still is really hard for me. And it's I'm trying to think. This last week, I think I've been out twice. For some reason, I got the job of going to the grocery store, and which is fine. And we made a decision this morning: no more going to the grocery store. What we're going to do is we're going to order online. We'll go to the store, pick it up, throw up our trunk. They can put it in, and we'll do it that way to further social distance. But I miss meeting with people. I miss seeing people. And of course, Zoom is great, and Skype, and even they call it a telephone for you can even call people who don't have the technology. But I'm finding it's a challenge, and it's hard. On the other hand, I've done something I haven't done in years, and that's I've been taking afternoon naps, and it has nothing to do with age.
Me too. I do that regularly, though. I do that when we're outside of COVID. That's part of my routine. And Mark, Marbeth, would it be okay for me just to share something with?
Of course.
So Mark, I love what you shared about there are two things that really struck me. And one is that I'm really recognizing the importance of physical distancing, not social distancing,
right?
Physical distancing to an increasing intimacy. So I'm looking at where can I create intimacy in relationships, even if there's a physical distance, so that it's not a social distance. And the other part for me that's been a really big noticing is that I'm hardwired for busy. My human design is the channel of keeping busy. And so I have worked 20, today is 20 straight 12-hour days. Like that's what my schedule looks like. Now that doesn't mean that I don't have an afternoon nap, or I don't take a walk, or I close the night with a Hallmark movie. I don't own a TV, but I have one of those boxes that you put the little movie in. And I look at it where the busy that I have in the work that I'm being called to do is one where I'm just called to do that quietly for me, and not necessarily be out on writing new content and that kind of stuff. Some of there is that, but it's like I'm being told like it's not mine to release. So there's work being done because that's my channel. It's not that I'm still in the sense of me meditating all day long. It's that I'm being told to be still in not being out there as someone who truly is more of a vocal advocate and a voice for voiceless, in doing a lot of forgiveness work and vulnerability work and in corporate and political realms. And so that's interesting and different for me. Yet at the same time, there's still this honoring of me. So it sounds like you're in a similar, like you're listening to that and you're still busy, which is good.
Yeah.
Maureen, I know you've been busy lately, even though you have not been a world traveler. You got your wings clipped.
I did. That's very, very true. I'm very much needed in China right now, and I have been going to China for the last 5 years, 5 to 6 times a year for about 3 to 4 weeks. And I'll teach in China and Hong Kong, and this year I was booked into Japan, and these are all invitation. I've never sought to do. I mean, I would have my spiritual work where I would say I was willing to go, but I never actually went out and found somebody to bring me there. I always had somebody show up and, would you come? And all of that has evaporated completely. So the last trip I had, Marbeth, was when I saw you in Florida. but normally I'm gone, 90% of the time. And it's very powerful, because one of the things I wrote about in my blog post, March 2020, Magic Days and Mystery of Astrology, we're in a cycle right now where forward movement is possible, but we're being called to move into a different way of being. And this whole rest of the year after April 25th is one retrograde after another. Now, it's pretty common to have a retrograde at one time or another, but it's very unusual to have them back to back and lining up. Now, the interplanet retrogrades are much more powerful, Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, like that, than the outer planets, like a Jupiter retrograde. But the important thing to understand is we are being, I'll say, given the training wheels to begin to understand deep reflection and deep change, so that as we move into this new cycle that's coming in front of us, we can maximize that and level up in a way that we never would have any other way.
That's powerful. Yeah. And I think these are times where compassion is going to be shifting the planet. People are, I think compassion has an element. It's empathy, but it also has an element of helping with it, with passion, right? So I was talking about this with Harrison earlier, about the compassion, that it has those two elements in it, it's with passion. So yeah, I mean, look at all of the beautiful changes that's happened to the earth, where over the Arctic, the ozone is healing itself. And in LA, the skies are clear. In Venice, they had dolphins in the waterways. Sea turtles on the beach laid millions of eggs in India undisturbed. This is amazing. This is giving the earth the opportunity to just say, hey, you guys, just hang out for a while. Let me get my together.
Do you think this is a message, and for whatever reason, I'm out of focus for a change, but do you think this
You are?
Yeah, I brand new camera too. I think it has to go back. Is this a message? I understand that, the three of you do, you work with people one-on-one. I don't do that. While I work with people one-on-one, I'm just asking questions. I mean, I have so many questions for you, Lisa Marie and Maureen. I can't begin to tell you. We've got hours of.
You have to have them on your show.
They're both invited, and you'll send me an invite to them. I'd love to do that, and we'll do that in the next couple of weeks. My point is that I'm not sure I receive. You've all talked about receiving, talking about. I wrote, your calling. I know what my purpose is. My purpose is to talk. It just is. That's, I'm a chatty Cathy. That's.
I'm going to jump in here and say, you already told us that your purpose is to ask questions.
Yeah.
And where do you think those questions come from?
They're divinely inspired.
There you go. There's your divine inspiration.
Yeah.
And
your inspiration is no different than mine. It's just targeted for the work you do.
Right. I know that I've not shared this information before, but before I do a show, I close my eyes, and if I'm in the studio, which I haven't been, I close my eyes, take a deep breath, and I ask to be a conduit, to have a good show. If I'm on stage, I do the same thing. If I'm media training somebody, I tell them to do that. And if I don't do it for whatever reason, the show isn't as good.
I know.
Yeah,
you have to let yourself.
I guess I just answered my own question.
Yes, you did. It's awesome. It's truly awesome. I begin the day with gratitude, and I make a list of everything that I want to do that day. And when I first started using this list, which I got from my good friend, I was surprised that there were more line items for the things I was grateful for than it was for the things I wanted to do. So there were 9 things to do, and then, you know, make your list of things you're grateful for, and then my genuinely grateful experiences. And I remember initially thinking, well, that's silly. I'm just going to do 1 for 1. But pretty soon I thought, oh, I'll just fill the whole thing out. And that's when I saw smoothness. That's when I saw grace and ease, because like Lisa Marie, I am very productive, and it's in my blood to get a lot done and to be highly motivated. And I want to get a lot done. I'm not happy if I'm just sitting around. So this way of starting with gratitude is amazing. So I often do gratitude stuff with my husband first thing in the morning when we're at breakfast. And I decided to add a joke when we started this Corona business, because he really likes to go out and about and see the museums and the theater and stuff. So we now have to come up with a joke every morning. And some of the jokes are really bad. Some of the jokes are really good, but it is so much fun. And we are staying in our joy, which keeps us super healthy.
I love that. That's great. Yeah. You know, Harrison and I always try to stay light, and we do joke around quite a bit. And, you know, so I think you're definitely on the right path. And actually, Maureen, I would love for you, I think this is the time for you to tap in to the Akashic Records and tell us what the masters, what our guides have to say about this current situation on the humanity and on Earth.
Okay, so the first master that wants to come in is Sunnat Kumara, and he wants to remind everyone that we are stepping out of the place of keeping score. There's no more keeping score anymore. And what this means is, just like Mark described the standing in line and remembering he'd forgotten something, the person behind him understood that it didn't matter whether he went and got the bread or not. So there's no keeping score. I was here first business. The earth itself is taking advantage of the opportunity that was created by those that would have humanity fail. There was an agenda that did not succeed, but it has been turned into favor for humanity. This means that everything that is going to be an outcome in this situation will be highly beneficial. There are some casualties, and in this particular situation, the casualties are most distressing. However, we want you to understand from our vantage point that there are many graces that are coming your way that you have yet to discover. And everyone who is choosing to accept this, we will call it rule of law, and this harboring in place, is achieving a level of inner mastery that they would not achieve any other way. Those frequent naps, you're actually tuning in and letting the body unwind so that the higher vibrational frequencies can move in and integrate. One of the most important things that we see from our vantage point is that humans have resisted the higher vibrational frequencies that are coming in, not because they didn't like them or didn't want them, but they were so busy maintaining their status quo. And by allowing people the time and the frequency to level down a few notches, it's allowing them to level up into their higher frequencies and allows them to seek a higher understanding of everything that is happening to them. So in this case, we ask you to be patient and loving in addition to all the other things that you are doing. This means loving in all directions. This means loving in the people you dislike as much as the people you like. And we say to you that it's easy to love the people you like. Can you love the people you don't like? Just like it's easy to meditate in a quiet room. Can you meditate in a crowded room? So we ask you to, and we invite you to look at those people that you dislike, those people that you hold energy against for whatever reason, whether it's a political figure or a family member, that you look at that and notice that inside you have become peaceful. And because you can become peaceful here, you can become peaceful outward. And you must project that peace outward in all directions, not in a limited way. In this way, you will help heal the earth.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Wow.
That's really beautiful. Yeah, and especially, peace has been my thing for a long time. It seems to be a focus, and it's a constant remembering to choose peace every moment. So that's really beautiful, Maureen. Thank you so much for agreeing to tap in to the Akashic Records. That was really powerful. And I think it gives us all something to think about and achieve, something to look into achieving. What are your thoughts about that, Lisa Marie?
Thank you, Maureen. And Marbeth, thank you for making the request. I was visibly moved to tears at the end, especially in speaking about the love, extending love to those that you dislike. My mantra has been around unconditional love, and I speak about this so often when I go into companies and talk about forgiveness. And I've been doing this since I started my business 15 years ago. And it's never the thing that I put in a proposal. It's always the thing that I bring to the table once I'm in and once the contract is signed. And it's because loving every single person and seeing them as a human being is so important in order for there to be healing, and peace within a community leads to peace on the planet. And yet there have been times when I remember even after 9/11, people saying some really mean things to me about other nationalities and other religions. And once again, it's going to move me to tears, where it was so painful to hear, because even though I was there, and even though the situation was really an awful situation, I was really clear that if I didn't find forgiveness in my heart, and if I didn't take a stand for all people being good and wanting to do good, that turning point would leave me incredibly bitter and mean. And so I made the decision to forgive some things that some people would consider unforgivable. And unforgivable also with coworkers and conversations that went on. And it led me down a wonderful path. And to hear how many times that I've gotten the message where I've sat in quiet and asked for guidance and gotten messages like, what am I supposed to do when I ask? And I hear the Holy Spirit say love, and I say, well, that's ridiculous. Like, I would like something else to do. And then I would hear the voice say, you make things so complicated. And I would be like, I want something else. And yet it's that simple. It's really that simple.
It is. It's very simple, but not always easy.
And so thank you, Maureen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for that. I was already, the first part about the agenda I had gotten pulled into some very high political conversations about that early on. And my vision has been this will be turned into good. And I am, I'm humbled to be here with you. And Marbeth, I thank you for bringing this, bringing Mark and Maureen here. And like I say, humbled that you invited me as well.
Well, I'm so humbled and thrilled that you agreed to leave your quiet to come here, because I knew you had to be on this panel. I knew it, and I could feel it. So, and I got goosebumps. So yeah, it was wonderful.
I'm sending virtual hugs to all three of you.
Air
In particular, at this point, Lisa Marie, because I think you need one.
Yes, air hugs for everybody. And I think forgiveness is so important. I think that when we forgive people that we have issues with, then we're actually forgiving parts of ourselves, because those people are representing parts of ourselves that we don't like, that we have issues with, you know. So as we forgive everyone, we move into a clarity within ourselves, a clearing out of all this stuff that's dead weight. What a wonderful opportunity now.
And we actually can reach a point where we don't require to forgive.
Yeah.
Because there are no affronts.
Exactly. When we recognize that it's either love or a call for love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. I've always thought that people in general are good. I mean, there's some bad apples out there, right?
Right.
But you can't say this group of people, because they have purple skin and yellow stripes, are all bad. And it doesn't matter what religion they believe. It doesn't matter their sexual orientation, if they're men, women, they're good people. And I think most people are good. And I trust people. Maybe I've been told I trust people too much, but I can't live paranoid. And I have to live with love in my heart for everybody. And, you know, Maureen had said, you know, you have to love people that you don't like, political figures. Boy. And I made a face at that point. It's okay. I'm going to try. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to work on it. Maybe
I like that. I'm going to try.
I'm going to really, and try is not a good, you know, Yoda said, no, try, do.
Yeah.
So I'll do it to the best of my ability. I think that people in general are good. I mean, I think that if the world leaders, we didn't have this COVID-19 thing, you know, if they all sat down, they had to bring a dish that they personally made, okay? And they sat down to eat and didn't have their servants make it. They have to do it. Okay, I think it would be a great icebreaker. I know that's naive, but I've said that for 25 or 30 years.
Well, look what this COVID-19 has done. It brought the political rivals together in Israel, which 3 elections couldn't do. They are both working as part of the government to unify against this COVID-19. There was a Dutch president, I think the Dutch prime minister, whatever, that shows my ignorance and I do apologize, but she appointed a political, a person from a different political party to be the Minister of Health. So she's bringing opposites together. This is actually, there's so many positive things that are happening right now because of this virus. You know, I think that if we look at it from the right perspective, we can see a lot of positives that are happening.
What I tell people is stay in wonder. When something happens that you think is a really bad idea and you can't believe they thought of it, to say, I wonder what they know that I don't know. I wonder what's really going on. I wonder why they thought that. Because that changes the energy. If you stay in curiosity and in love instead of judgment.
Oh, that's
that is exquisite. And as someone who has worked in the government and has a husband work in the government and has friends at some of the highest echelons in government, there are so many things that go on, that being in wonder because you only have one teeny tiny itsy bitsy piece is an exquisite way of looking at things.
Mm-hmm.
And that phrase where all people, not most people, not many people, but all people are good. Every single person is good. And every person has experienced some level of brokenness, hurt, pain that has them react and respond in ways that really do evoke curiosity. And it's really that, it's really that simple. And so I am like if I could hug you right now, like for
show her how you do that.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, that's fabulous, Maureen. I love it. I'm definitely going to use that, because that has been an area where I do find myself in judgment more than anything. And it's
well, you know, it's funny. The other day I was looking at some of the tweets from the president, and there was a man whose name was Bishop somebody or other, and he had 4 or 5 names, and I refrained from doing it, but I wanted to say, are you a real bishop, or is that just your first name? Because he had so many pejorative words, not just you know, like that was a stupid thing, but you know, like words that you would describe somebody who was a horrible, horrible person. And I couldn't wrap my brain around somebody who was supposed to be a man of the cloth and speaking those kind of ways. It was like, how does that happen?
So
Well,
I'm still like, I'm wondering about that one.
well, you know, and there are clergy right now that are still holding services.
Yes.
You know, 200-300 people showing up.
That's considered essential services, essential activities right now.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Is
I
going-
thought they canceled everything.
I mean,
some people have, but we just received the list of essential activities in Florida, and the top of the list was going to church or synagogue services.
yeah, your governor has said that several times, and
I'm in wonder.
Remember that. We should remember
You're in
that
wonder.
election.
I'm wondering about that one too.
Yeah, in synagogues right now. This is Holy Week for today is Palm Sunday. Next week is Easter Sunday. Starting, I think, on Wednesday is Pesach, Passover. Now you know where I'm at. And we're not doing a big family event. Normally we go and there's, I don't know, 45 or 50 people. Thank God I don't have to cook on that one. But it's the rabbis, even the Orthodox. I got a note 20 minutes before we started today. You know, here's how to do a Seder at home with your own family, and you don't have to have everybody over. And you can do it on Zoom. I have a friend who lives in Iowa. He's a member of a congregation of 100 people, and they're all going to get on Zoom. I think that's terrific.
I do too.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think,
cool.
is there any reason why people can't hold services on Zoom?
No, not to me.
No, not to me either. So,
Thank God for the technology.
Yeah, the technology is amazing. And so we're able to be here. You know, we can reach out socially, and I have more friends reaching out to me on FaceTime, because it's like, wow, I want to see you. So we have friends who Hawaii that were on last week, and they reached out to us on FaceTime, and it was and also on Zoom. And I thought, wow, isn't that amazing? I love it.
Well, I FaceTime. I'm very jealous of Lisa Marie. You're in the DC area, if I remember,
Yeah.
right? So I'm very jealous of that. So I FaceTime a couple of times a week to my daughter and my granddaughter, who's 3,000 miles away. But
So they live in the DC area?
They do.
Well, when all of this clears up, Mark, you're more than welcome to stay at our home. I know you have theirs also to stay at, but you're welcome at any point, at any time.
Thank you. That's
So.
great.
Oh, wait. Now this is a Jewish thing. You're getting FaceTime twice a week with your granddaughter? I'm only getting it once a month.
Oh my God.
That was meant as a joke. That was not for real.
That's very funny.
It is very funny. Thank you.
Actually, my wife FaceTimed earlier. I got still pictures, and it was, and yesterday or Friday, I FaceTimed, and they were out in the backyard and on the swing set because the weather was nice. And it just, virtual hugs are great and the kisses are good, but she's 17 months old. I want her to know who I am.
Of course. Well, I have to tell you that I have to tell my grandkids before I go on a broadcast, because I was about to do a meditation on the Enlightened World Network a couple of weeks ago. Was it last week maybe? And my kids FaceTimed me in the middle.
That's great.
Stop it.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
Every week we record Late Night Help on Tuesdays, and I have not been going into the studio. We've been doing it over the phone. It's a little difficult, and but one of my sisters, I'll say, please remember, from like 10 to 12 on Tuesdays, don't call me. Every week. The phone goes off during the show. It's just.
I know, but the FaceTime showed up on the computer, and I could not stop it. And when she couldn't reach me, she called back.
Oh yeah. Right.
Well, we unplug the landline when we go live, because we can't stop it either, the phone. Yeah.
I know. So anyway, now I call first and say, listen, I'm going to be live, for an hour. Let's talk after. And I'm blessed that they want to talk. I love that. I mean, I love it. I have the little grandkids. What a joy. But not during a meditation, please.
Oh, speaking of meditations, can I tell people about some of the meditations I have? There's two in particular that I'd like to share. One is called the Divine Government Meditation, and it is a free meditation on my website. So if you go to my website, MAUREENStGermain.com.
We'll post, and it's in all of the postings.
Right. And so the one that I'm talking about right now is called Divine Government Meditation. And that's really beautiful, because what we're doing is we're calling in the divine spark of everyone and amping it up to help them make the best possible decisions. And then the other meditation that I would really encourage people to check out is the Golden Bowl.
Oh, that's fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you tell them about the Golden Bowl? Because you had an amazing experience when
I'm so blessed.
She was one of my beta testers.
I was a beta tester, and she sent me this beautiful meditation. Very, very, very powerful. The Golden Bowl. I keep forgetting to do that.
Yeah, it's pretty wonderful. I do it all the time. It's 12 minutes, which is what makes it so special, because you can find 12 minutes just about any time. And what I did is I've been carrying that meditation around with me for about 7 years, and I was never given the green light to release it. And then finally, about, I don't know, maybe mid-January, I was given, maybe before then, maybe in the fall, I was given a green light to release it. And so first I did the beta testing to make sure everybody had what they needed and, could give me feedback on anything that needed to change. And then I recorded it. But the cool thing is I cite some biblical references that explain that the golden bowl, which is the set of sinuses all the way around the head, is this, what I will call the satellite dish to connect with the divine. Mm-hmm. So what what I discovered is that when we're having these connections with the divine, we often have the feeling of our sinuses opening up, but nobody's ever defined it that way. And when I found the citation in the Old Testament, I went, oh my gosh, how did I miss this? And so I explain all that, and I explain what Edgar Casey said about all of this. And then that's like the first 12 minutes, and that's just the intro. So I think, you can do the intro and the meditation
Really
first
powerful.
time.
You should really check out Maureen's site. And I'll tell you, Lisa Marie is an award-winning author of how many books?
7.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have these amazing people on this panel, and Mark is writing a book, or just wrote a book.
I actually have got 2 more books. Yes, we're about to release Growing Old Sucks. None of you can relate to that one, of course.
Not at all.
But it doesn't have to. That's it. It's Aging with Attitude. The next book I'm going to do is How to Live with the Hard of Hearing, because wearing headphones. Thank you.
I did.
It took a second, but okay. Because living with the hard of hearing is almost as bad as being hard of hearing. I've worn headsets for 40 years, and they are the worst thing in the world for your hearing. And when I first started in radio, we would crank the music or the sound up so loud, we destroyed our hearing. Now, it doesn't affect everybody that way, but it certainly did me. And I am, without my little hearing aids, and I'm almost deaf. It's terrible. On a 1-to-1, I'm okay, but I always say, huh. I always do. And what happens is that there's an attitude that, well, do you have your hearing aids in? That's one. Or are they loud enough? Are they working? Did you change your batteries? Did you charge? I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
And that's where compassion comes in.
And yes. And then the third book I'm going to write, because it's a health book, and I've got notes on it, is, hey, doc, you're fired, because they don't spend enough time with you. So they're my
I love it.
books. Thank you.
I love it. We're approaching the hour, and I would just love to get some pearls of wisdom. Bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down. And we come from that perspective. We come from that place of love and comfort and compassion, willingness to let go of judgment, willingness to forgive. I think we're going to see a new planet. Do you have a few words you'd like to say, Lisa Marie? Just a few, maybe like 1 minute, words of wisdom. I know I caught you right on the spot.
I just love that you brought up, the bridge piece. We're all called to be a bridge right now. And that's what drew me to the show when you spoke about that, was being able to ask the question, where am I called to be a bridge right now? Is it in my family relationships? Is it in my friends, my clients, my loved ones? And so I've been doing this practice, which is sitting in the quiet and saying, who is it that I'm to reach out to right now? And whatever name pops up for me is who I reach out to. And there have been people that I've reached out to that I haven't spoken to in a very long time, but it's been on my heart. And rather than at other times where I put it off, it's this level of bridge building and continuing to deepen those connections and that level of intimacy. So I go back to what I started with, and that is, my vision is creating a world where everyone wins. And when everyone wins, when one person wins, then everybody wins. Because when one person loses, we all lose.
Yeah, it's very true. Beautifully said. Mark.
Well, because there is no coincidences. About a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago, I saw Lisa Marie on stage. And I thought, I have to talk to this woman. And she got busy. You were running the EBC in San Diego. And I have to talk to this woman. I have to meet her because I think there's some synergy there. We could do something together. And when I saw her name, and then frankly, I forgot, you know, I just got busy, you know, granddaughter and things, you know. And so this is terrific. And then this week, somebody told me that she was, hold on, I know we're going over here, but was telling to me about the Akashic Records. I'd never heard about it before. And now I'm meeting Maureen. So there are no coincidences. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll connect all three of you because you need to connect.
We will. If you'll send us emails, I would certainly appreciate it personally.
You got it. Maureen.
I always like to close with a simple statement that everybody can say. I'm asking for a day of heaven on earth for me and everyone I come in contact with.
Ooh.
Oh, I love that.
Powerful. Very powerful. Yeah, you guys totally rock. Thank you so much. So much for being part of our discussion. And we have an amazing panel coming up next week as well. We have Jennifer Huff, we have Robert Clancy, and Jill Fisher. So we don't have a theme yet, but I know it's going to be amazing. So,
thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Ah,
I'm very honored to have been part of this. I am blown away by the invitation and the power of the three of you. Thank you.
yeah.
Awesome.
And Marbeth, you are a delightful host.
Thank you. This was fun.